After the storm a couple of days ago, we have some really big mushrooms. There's two big ones. Look at those. Some pretty big ones. Interesting. Got little bumps on them. And there's another one. And there's some more all along here. The mosquitoes are landing on my hands. Well, I have squared up this autumn table runner, and I have cut out the backing to size and pinned them together. And so I think probably tomorrow, I don't think I'm up to it today, but tomorrow I will quilt those together. It's not a sandwich, so there's no batting in the middle. I am going to do the binding for this table runner. I have determined this time that I'm going to do a beautiful binding. And so I actually decided to watch a video about how to do binding, and that was very helpful. I did decide to use this fabric. I had enough of it, which is one important thing, because I decided I wanted the binding to be all one fabric, and I thought if I use this for the binding, it'll make that same fabric in the table runner not look so strange. And it is a beautiful fabric, don't you think? Now, these strips of binding are 2.5 inches wide. Now, I've never done decent binding before, so I got all this from a video I watched, and I'll link it up there in the corner. So this is 2.5 inches wide, and so then I ironed them in half like this, so this is 1.25 inch, which should be plenty. Now, in order to get a long strip of binding that's long enough to go all around my quilt, I did measure my quilt, and I need about 125 inches or so. And I'm joining it using a wonderful, interesting method that I saw on this video. Joining all these, the strips are all 22 inches long. So let me show you what I'm doing. So I've laid two pieces of the binding that I want to join together, right sides together. And you see, it is important to iron it like this because there's going to be an intersection between this line of ironing and this fold here, and that's very important. I've laid the two pieces at 90-degree angles to each other, made sure the sides line up, and then I'm going to sew a seam from that corner up there where they touch to this corner down here where that little V is. Okay, and I'm going to do that since I'm holding my camera. I'll be right back. Okay, so there you go. I know all you quilters out there know exactly what's going on, but this was brand new to me. This decreases the bulk, and it gives you a beautiful join. So I cut off my excess, and then when I fold this over this way, look at what a beautiful joint I have between these two pieces. And the bulk of that seam is spread diagonally this way instead of being all in one location across. It's really spread out and decreases the bulk, and you get this lovely fold that just continues. And so I'll be keeping all this folded up, and I'm going to continue joining all of my strips, my 22-inch strips together, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put that binding on. Now I'm attaching this binding, which turned out well, to the back of the quilted table runner. And that's because the lady in the video said if you're going to do it by machine, and I think she meant all of it by machine, you attach it to the back. Now, if you want to only do the attaching, the first sewing around on machine, and then you want to finish the last of it by hand, then you can do it on the front. Now, I don't really know why, but I'm sure I'll discover eventually. So we're going to do it on the back, and then I'll fold it over and finish it on the front. Now when you get to a corner, what you're supposed to do is stop about 1/4 of an inch out. See, you can see the corner right there. And of course you leave your needle down. And you turn it and I'm going to sew straight for that corner and run off the fabric. And we'll see what happens. All right. I ran out of bobbin thread and had to go through that whole business in order to get back to this stage, but you can see what we've done here. And then I, of course, cut my sewing thread and separated it. Now, what I'm supposed to do is fold this back, make sure that this is flush with this, and turn my work and keep on going, starting at that corner. I'm doing this could be a mistake, but I am doing a 3/8 of an inch seam. Maybe I shouldn't do that, I don't know. But now we're going to keep on going, and so now I do want this to be square over here. Anyway, and we'll do that at all the corners, and then it should turn easily. As you can tell, this is an experiment for me and not a tutorial for you. I'm so sorry. Well, I've put on my binding all the way around, and this is the last corner. I thought I'd give you a sneak peek of how nicely it's going to turn. I'm doing it with my left hand, not very useful. But I'm going to turn it and then try to make sure that I also have a nice mitered corner on this. Probably trim some of that bulk out right there. We'll see. But now I have to finish the join here. Now what the lady said on the video is that you want to have an overlap. This is the beginning of my binding. And I left a nice long tail, so it's unattached. But this is the beginning of that tail, and then here's the end. So they're both loose, so I can work with them. And I'm going to take these two together, and I'm going to do the same type of 90-degree join that I did with my bindings before. I'm going to open that one up and open this one up and lay them across and sew and see what we get. A little nervous. I just did that seam. Can you see? I started up here and ended down here where my needle is. And I had to do it slowly and carefully to make sure that all the fabric was opened up and nice and flat, because you're working in a tight corner, so to speak. Can you hear my chickens outside? Okay, now I'm going to open this up and see what we've... Oh, well, let me go to the other side. Sorry. See... Oh, did it work? Or did I do it backwards? Oh, no. Well, oh, dear. You know, I think I twisted it too much. I may have to take it out. Yeah, see? I've got to turn it. Oh, my God. I might have to do that by hand. See, even with all my care, I didn't know what I was doing exactly. That's why this is not a tutorial. So if you do it, make sure you don't get a turn in it. I'm going to have to take out that lovely diagonal seam that I did. And now I have the teeniest of seam allowances. I may have to put that back together by hand. We'll see. All right, well, it's a fearful thing turning on your sewing machine, is it not? Okay, did I get it right this time? I did it on the machine. Oh, it looks much more promising. Yes. Okay, no twist. So now I can finish attaching by running my regular outside seam along here. Okay, phew. That was a nervous save. The lady on the video said something about stitching in the ditch, but of course that's not possible here on the front. You can't stitch on the ditch with something that's not attached yet. That would have to be on the back side, but I'm not comfortable doing that and not knowing where the stitching would end up on this side. So I'm just going to run a line of stitching. I don't care about whether the stitching shows, because I've got stitching showing on all of this, so why would I need to hide this one line of stitching in a ditch? I don't know. But it would make sense. It would make sense if I had put this on the front. If I put the binding on the front first, then I would run it around and stitch in the ditch here. I might have trimmed this seam, this raw selvage, this raw edge more, but I'm tucking it around, and I think it's going to do fine. I think it looks really good up there. So certainly looks better than any binding I've done so far. So we're going to continue on with our sewing machine, showing our seams. Okay, I'm so glad I chose this binding color. I think it will help a lot tying it together. And I wanted to show you, this is my best corner, so I'm going to show you, oh, I got a little bit of string hanging out there, but this is how the corners ended up with my sewing. Real pleased with that. When I was coming along to the corner, going in this direction, obviously, I just tucked this bit of the fabric as far up there as I could, and then folded this part of the fabric that's on top over top of it until I got the closest I could get to a mitered corner look, and then just stopped my needle right there on that point and rotated it and kept going. It really did work well. And of course, this whole side is well secured, and this side is well secured because it was sewn on first. And yeah, I mean, you can see there that it doesn't always, it's not always located where it should be, that seam, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm really worried about whether it's pretty and whether she'll like it, and I think she will. It's going to go in the mail, and Tammy, if you're watching, you know who you are. This is for you. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.